Okay, guys, and welcome back to our final episode of Season 8. We are here with the Truro City Football Club, our White Tigers, and as you can see, we finished 14th in League 1 on 61 points, 10 points behind Plymouth in the playoff spots, and we are safe in League 1 for this season, ready for next season. So we finished 10 above the drop, 10 behind the playoffs, right sort of dead smack in a nice, comfortable middle position. So we have some serious work to do over the summer here to figure out how to kind of tighten things up and really improve what we've got going on. But overall, I think as a wrap-up for this season, we did very, very well. We moved some guys on. We've had some adjustments during the year, but I think overall, I'm really happy with how things have gone, and we'll see how things kind of go in the next season. I think we're well on our way to year 2 of our sort of 3-year plan for the championship. Just as a side note in this is going to be the last of this format. Next season we're going to go in. I have a webcam now, so we're going to go back to the live comms. I'll still do the highlights of all the games, so you can kind of see the highlights and my perspective of all the games I've played in between. But we're going to do live comm, and there'll be a webcam involved in this situation when all is said and done, when we do the preview for season 9. So just a final wrap up. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do. So final league stats, Craig Furness finished up with 19 goals. Callum Robinson, 17. Jack Dunn, 14. So a really good deal there. Assist-wise, nicely done. Zach Durnley and Ben Holmes with 13 and 12 respectively. Furness and Dunn with 11. So we had really good goal production. And then Ethan Robeson at a 7.5 was our highest average rating guy. So overall, I'd say a successful season. We stayed up. We stayed up relatively safely and comfortably this season. So I think I'm really looking forward to kind of making some tweaks and adjustments to the squad, and making progress towards the championship. So that's it for the intro, guys, and I'll see you in the first highlight. Okay, guys, so this was the Luton Town game. We've smacked into Luton a couple of times during the season, and unfortunately, while I feel like we really dominated play in this one, they got an early strike on us, and we just unfortunately really weren't able to do anything to get back into the game. We put a lot of shots on target. We really pushed. We owned possession, but we just couldn't break them down. So the only goal of the game was Will Grigg. Again, an open play one here. Grigg gets in there just behind the defensive line and right through. So we have some thinking to do for how we want to handle things next year and kind of tune and tweak and get things working. But that was it for this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next highlight. Okay, guys, so this was the home game against Wigan Athletic. Again, disappointed with this one. We let it slip through our fingers. We went out to a good 2-goal lead, put 2 on them, and then before halftime they pegged us back. Disappointing. There's really no other way to say it. Just disappointing. I really felt like we've been better than this. And this has sort of been the story of this month, and the last episode and this episode. We just really aren't able to kind of get our gear, get things together and get it in gear. And unfortunately, we gave away 3 points that would have been particularly helpful. So Callum Robinson did open it up in the 28th minute to see him scoring. So hopefully he will continue that into next year. Holmes gets a nice one out there, and then he just takes a few steps and buries that in the net. So really nice to see from him on that one. And then new signee Sado Diallo, who's betting into the squad reasonably well here, gets in on the action. Durnley gets in deep, and he's in the right place at the right time, and he pokes that one right into the back of the net. So I'm really happy that he's betting into the squad well, and I look forward to big things from him next year. Unfortunately, Lucas Spalvis gets him back. Again, just partially our own stupidity there. Robson gets robbed of the ball because he wasn't paying a lot of attention. one shot around the keeper, nobody puts a foot in on him, and he gets it. And then 2 minutes later, again, right through. So we're going to need to work on deepening our lines. See, I don't know what to do about those kind of things. That I think is just... I'm tempted to go looking for better center backs in this offseason. I really am. To see if, or maybe tweak a role, get a cover guy who will drop back a little deeper to stop those kind of things. But they've killed us. In the last couple of games, that's the thing that's killing us. So we have some serious thinking to do along those lines. So that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you at the Leicester highlight. Okay, guys, so this was a 4-0 drubbing at the hands of Leicester, who we've pretty much owned in preseason and the beginning of the season. They finally exacted a measure of revenge. Not to say that Penny's sending off didn't really do anything per se. I mean, okay, fine, they scored once after that, but for the most part, the game was long since over. Before it, we just... Again, we've shown a real sort of lack of sharpness, which tells me I need to do some rethink going into next season. I think maybe backing off of this 4-2-4 sort of aggressive thing and dropping back into our sort of 4-4-2 counter may be the best option here to try and bring back our cutting edge. That this really all-out pressuring attack isn't necessarily going to work for us. So again, their king is in all sorts of space. Mavididi gets himself gets a nice clean look at him, and he buries that in the back of the net. Lewis Thompson, just a short time later, finds his way and then brings the ball down. Defense refuses to clear it, and that's it for that. Mavididi decides, assists are fun and all, but they pop it right over the back line. And he gets right out in front of his man, blasted into the back of the net. And then just for fun, Clayton finishes the beating off. Stevens out wide. Clayton jumps up, gets a head on it because no one else decides they want to even jump for it. And down she goes. What a beard. Was that a beauty beard on? Let me just see that. That is a serious beard that man has. Badass, sir. Badass. So we end up losing 4-0 to this one. And this pretty much, at this point, we're just trying to get out of the season and into the off-season to start making the tweaks and adjustments. So that's it for this one, guys. I will see you in the Fleetwood game. Well, if you're going to rebound, this is a good way to do it. So we end up rebounding off of the 4-0 beating we took at the hands of Leicester. We come home and we lay a beating down on Fleetwood, who are in a relegation fight at this point. They managed to just squeak out of it at the end of the season, but we needed to come in here, play a dangerous team that was all over trying not to be relegated, and we put the beating down. Stuart Brown is kind of showing that he wants to be a starting center back for us. I'm tempted. I'm really tempted that he comes in and starts on there. I'm thinking maybe moving trying to see if I can make a huge splash to move Matthew Penny on. Borthwick Jackson's playing. He's played pretty well in that slot, and Penny just has so many cards and puts us into so many bad situations. So we'll have to see what we can do on that one. But Calvinson, with a brace in this one, opens it up in the 25th minute. Robson doing a good job. Holmes gets himself, and then he just puts it right there. Holmes and Robson have been very key to our team clicking. While we do need to improve the depth at those positions, those guys really are, making us move. Alexander Arnold out there, Robson from out deep. He keeps doing that every once in a while, and it's beautiful to see. Burying shots periodically on there. 45th +1 just before the half here. Again, we're in good space. We're finding things, and then Robinson just does the job on there. So I do think we're going to drop it. We're going to tweak the formation a little bit going into next season. And then just at insult to injury, Adam Thompson puts in an own goal from a Durnley, to Furness, puts across there. Robinson was right there anyway, so the ball was going in the net. It was just a question of who was going to put it in, and unfortunately, it was them, not us. So Callum Robson has a phenomenal finish to the season. Well, finish to this game in there. So a good win, a great win on the bounce, sends us into the Oldham Athletic game with a little bit of momentum. So I'll see you guys in the feature game. Okay, guys, so this was the final game of Season 8 of the 2022-2023 season. Unfortunately, it was a draw against Oldham Athletic that we were probably lucky to get. They needed the win to avoid relegation, and we just weren't there to give them that. So unfortunately, they end up going down to League Two, which is something that we've been avoiding, and we wish to continue to avoid in there. But I'm disappointed in the way we finished the season. Again, I was trying to look for guys that were stepping up who want to be a starting 11 for next season for us. So we have some work to do. We're going to look to move. I think I'm trying to figure out how to get the chess pieces to line up here. So let's get in. We'll look at we'll watch the highlights of what's going on here, and this we'll talk a little bit more about next season. So we're underway. Like I said, I think that we're a bit too aggressive right now. We need to kind of tighten things up a little bit. The front six are good, and the fullbacks have been playing well. Like I said, I think I'm very seriously considering moving on. Done with a good opportunity there. I'm very seriously trying to consider moving Matthew Penny on for big money. To see if just because financially it'll be nice to see if we can bring some cash into the club. And again, I really feel like from a discipline perspective, he's a reasonable liability. So I'm interested in seeing if I can sort of end that. Beautiful from Callum Robson, just well worked down the side. So I think dropping. We're going to try one of a couple of things here. Is either we may try and drop into the sort of a 4-1-2-3 type formation, and see if we can't solidify defense. I've been really interested in getting sort of the a regista roaming playmaker. Box-to-box, Miller getting in really nicely there. Unfortunately, he just runs into the goalkeeper, and a good move gets stopped dead there. I'm really interested in sort of a regista roaming playmaker mix. I've had some success in prior FMs, or at least last season, and some tactical tests before with it, during beta and things like that as I was playing around. So I'd like to do that and then throw a box-to-box in there. I think Diallo is a box-to-box. Fits that really well. Robson's clearly playing done right in front there. Unfortunately, we can't handle the ping-pong rebounds there. We've had some good success with it, so I think Diallo plays really well in that box-to-box type role. If we can get if we can get Robson still playing in the roaming playmaker role as well as he had, then I'm really at the lookout for a good defensive midfielder, to play as a regista and a backup defensive midfielder. And then in that case, Dunn and Robinson can play as the strikers up top, which gives us good cover up top there. So Robinson being my primary striker, and then Dunn rather. Being the backup, and then we can leave Holmes and Durnley up in the attacking position, and then I think we're going to pick up, and then Stuart Brown, I'm tempted to put in there, go after a left back, and then just try and invest in coverage for the squad, be it youth players, and maybe try and go and fill in some guys in the under 21s of decent talent in there potentially, just to kind of get some more, or put them in the first team as rotation options. Um, I'd like to try and get the squad up. We've been at sort of the 22 player mark. I'd like to try and get, the 25-ish player mark. Just to see if we can't add a few more options. Principally, I'd like to add one, something on the wings. If we're at 22, the 3 players would be is to try and add another diverse winger to the whole experience, and then add another midfielder and then a diverse defender to the crowd. That was just horrid, and Oldham managed to get one back on that one. Felt offsides, but what you gonna do in that area? So I think, yeah, like I said, I think the idea is to try and go a little more defensively solid, and while call it my attack on sort of the solid base 4-1-4-1. By pushing the midfielders up. I think the front has played very, very well. We give one away to Hammond on that one. I'm tempted to leave the up top role. I have to take a look at how Robinson plays. I'm very tempted to leave it as a false 9, just to kind of connect things. I think it plays really well. And then see what we can do with the wings. We're getting good assist and goal diversification, so I'm not hugely worried about that drying up. And then I think with the defensive midfielder, sort of the aggressive playmaking defensive midfielders, and that dual sort of playmaker feel that's in there, combined with the box to box, is going to give us some more strength in the midfield. And improve what's going on sort of in the defense area. Then I can drop one of the center backs to a cover role, which will help, I think, stop some of those cheeky through balls that have been killing us. And then we have the pressing fullbacks, which is going to give us more width in attack. Kellen Robinson, unfortunately, with the foul there. It'll give us some more width and allow us to push the issue better. Going forward. So I think there's a lot of promise in a tactical switch like that, because we were good offensively, but we've just been too leaky defensively this year, and by becoming leaky defensively, we're unfortunately just giving up too many points to kind of be credible. This year we were on the cusp of a really phenomenal run, and I think the system just sort of broke down and didn't allow us to do that. There was just too many elements which were exploitable, and because of that, we just really weren't able to make that real solid push. So, shopping list for the for the summer seems to be 2 defensive midfielders, and then cover for the squad, and then seeing about moving Penny on. See if we can't strike while the iron's hot. I'm sure there's going to be some level of squad sort of disharmony for doing it, just because he is a big player for us, and he is very good, but it's the discipline that we just can't seem to get instilled in him. So if I can make money, which the club kind of needs, then I'll take it in a heartbeat. So that's it for the season, season 8, and I will see you guys in the wrap-up. Okay, guys, so that is all for Season 8. It's been a fairly successful season. I think survival in League 1 was big. Again, as you can see, we scored quite a bit, 87 goals this season, which was pretty impressive. However, we're used to a much better defensive setup, and being in 11th, I think, is what it definitely cost us. We gave up a lot of points. And then also, our disciplinary record here, 6th highest on yellow cards, 3rd highest on red cards, created a lot of difficult situations for us. So there are things that we're going to take a very, very deep look at and see what we can do moving forward. So that's it for this one. That's it for this season. So I'll see you guys back for the Season 9 preview. Like I said, we're going to tweak up the video format a little bit. So that's it for this one. And remember, if you haven't already, please check out Paul's creating a legacy series. There's some great stuff going on that he's got going with FC United of Manchester, so check that out. If you need to catch up, please catch up on the playlist for White Tigers Rising. Check out our podcast. We have Beyond the Touchline, where we talk football every week, and then we also have the unofficial weekly Football Manager show. We have lots of guests. We talk all things FM, how we learn, progression, what we're doing. In their streaming schedule, so check all that out. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Hit the like button if you like what we got going on, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye now.